Alright, another dead boxer. Article shared with me. I'll put the article in the description section of this video. I'll read the article and then comment on it. Great Yarmouth boxer Kuba Moczyk dies after knockout punch. A boxer who suffered a head injury in his first match has died. Kuba Moczyk, 22, was knocked out in the third round of Saturday's fight at the Tower Complex of Great Yarmouth. His family said he died on Wednesday night at the James Paget Hospital in Gorleston, where he had been in a coma on a life support machine. A minute's silence will be held for Mr. Moczyk at a meet and greet event with Tyson Fury in Gorleston on Thursday night, local promoter Leon Dakwa said. "I've been on the phone to Tyson last night and this morning and he is just so shocked," said Mr. Darkwa. A hospital spokesman said Mr. Mozyk's family had been at his bedside when he died and some of his organs has been donated for transplant. Mr. Dorwa, who trained Mr. Moczyk 3 years ago, said he had a heart of gold. He said, "I've spoken of Kuba's aunt and sister, and they are absolutely devastated. They are a lovely close family. He was never going to be a champion boxer, although he was very good, as he was so kind-hearted and did not have a vicious streak. To get into a ring was a big step, and everyone was so proud of him." Mr. Moczyk, originally from Poland, worked at a chicken factory and lived in the town. His trainer Scott Orsinski said on Wednesday Mr. Moczyk was winning the fight when he took the fatal blow. His opponent is believed to be 17 years old. Mr. Dora said has now banned his own sons aged 11 and 16 from boxing. Norfolk police has confirmed it does not plan to investigate. Great Yarmouth Borough Council has said the venue was licensed to hold boxing events, but environmental health officers would be investigating as health and safety concerns had been raised. In a statement, they said the onus is on event operators to ensure they have sensible health and safety arrangements, including risk assessments in place, and that these are followed. Tower Complex has been unavailable for comment. Alright, so I just want to share that. Here's a picture of the guy. So he's dead after a boxing match, and the 17-year-old is the one who delivered the fatal blow. So it just shows, 17 is not even considered an adult. So just a teenager was able to kill a 22-year-old with a single punch. It just shows how devastating and lethal unarmed combative techniques can be. Even when you're wearing gloves, you can still kill somebody with one punch. So imagine how powerful and destructive unarmed combative techniques can be without any protective equipment. And everybody's body's kind of built differently, but some people just simply maybe more fragile people. Any type of head trauma, severe head trauma, could result in an early death. And this is something that everybody should think about. Everybody should learn from, not just from them for themselves, but for their family. You know, look at the person in the article already said, "Hey, I'm not letting my kids get involved with this." And children tend to follow in the footsteps of their parents. So if you smoke, then maybe your kids might smoke. If you drink, your kids might drink. If you watch combat sport, your kids might watch combat sport. If you practice combat sport, your kids might practice combat sport. I mean, So the smarter decisions that you make for yourself, the better chance that your children will make good decisions as well. And I think things like this need to be, people need to be made aware of these types of dangers so that they can make better decisions in their own lives. I mean, this is just absolutely unnecessary. You know, you're supposed to be boxing for fun, but then, you know, somebody dies over it. It's just, it's ridiculous. You know, this is never a good thing, but it would make more sense if, say, Floyd Mayweather and then Manny Pacquiao are boxing, and they're boxing for over $300 million each, and then Pacquiao ends up dying in the ring. That would make more sense because, you know, he's fighting for $300 million. But what you have is these people, like what happened to this person who just dies for nothing. Like, really for nothing. I mean, even to die for $1 million is stupid. To die for 100 million is stupid. To die for 300 million is stupid. But it still makes sense. You know, like, you know, it's not good for people to rob banks, but they take the risk for a reason. You know, they want to rob the bank for $10 million. Okay, that makes sense, but why would they rob a bank for $2 or for nothing? You know, and a lot of the people, you know, they watch professional boxers and now they want to box, and then they end up hurting themselves. They go to the hospital. They got to pay all these medical bills, or they have like lifelong injuries that will never heal, or they simply die. And so many things are just undocumented, and nobody pays attention. But you know that there's a lot more instances of where people are getting severely injured, and where they're getting concussions, and where they're getting injuries that will never heal. Concussions that will never heal. CTE that will never heal. You know, um, brain damage that will never heal. And it's stupid. You know, a lot of people are engaging in these boxing matches, in these events, and they're getting absolutely nothing out of it. They're not getting paid any money. You know, and they're getting injured, they're getting killed for nothing. But every single cage fight you see, these fighters are getting paid money, lots of money. These professional boxers are getting paid lots of money to put their lives at risk over money. And like I said, that at least makes sense. People in the NFL, they're putting their lives at risk for money. But then you have all these amateurs that aren't getting any money at all, that are putting their lives at risk for what? You know, that doesn't make sense. I mean, all of it should stop. But it's not going to stop. It's going to continue. But at least people can make better decisions for themselves. You know, if the government all of a sudden allowed people to smoke crack, okay, it's legal now, but it doesn't mean that you should do it. You know, hopefully you're intelligent and smart enough to not get involved and not allow, you know, those types of drugs to enter into your system. So the government allows boxing, it allows cage fighting, but it doesn't mean that you should get involved. You know, I love martial arts, studying it almost my whole life, and I love training, I love sparring, but there's a certain way that you spar to keep yourself safe. And I just feel that a lot of people out there just don't understand how to do it right. But it can be done correctly. Just like a chef, a master chef could work with knives and cut vegetables and cut meat, but it doesn't mean that he's gonna cut himself. It's dangerous. He could cut his finger off. He could hurt himself, but he could still, if he knows what he's doing, he's not gonna hurt himself, and then other people will benefit. Same thing with firearms. Firearms can be very dangerous. A lot of people commit suicide. A lot of people commit murders and do stupid things with guns. But if you're responsible with the gun, then you don't have to hurt yourself or hurt other people. But you could use it as a valuable tool, towards the greater good if necessary. But there's a lot of things happening in this world, and this article is gonna get lost. Is gonna get lost within the millions and billions of articles out there. People just don't care. People would rather just look at the next celebrity that's dressed half naked. They're not paying attention to stuff like this, but hopefully the people that do come across this article, they can maybe learn from it and maybe help them make better decisions in their lives to protect their health and their safety, and to kind of learn from what happened to this person so that he doesn't just die in vain or just without notice. Maybe from his mistakes, people can make better decisions within their own lives. I mean, before reading this article, I certainly would not get involved in boxing on that type of competitive level, or just even allow people to give people permission to hit me as hard as they can, on my head or my face or whatnot. And I'll never allow my children to get involved in stuff like this. And I'm not gonna allow my students to get involved in things like this. I care about my life too much, and I care about the lives of my loved ones too much to get involved in things like this. I train so hard every day to prevent things like this from occurring. And there's certainly more intelligent ways of training to prepare for violence than to just giving somebody permission to hit you in the face as hard as they possibly can. I take every hard blow very seriously. As if it's knife fighting, or if they're trying to hit me with their fists, or kick me in the head, or hit me with a stick, or shoot me with a gun. All of it is serious to me. You need to train very safely to prepare and defend yourself against violence. And competitive boxing and cage fighting and just sport fighting in general, it's not properly educating the public in how to properly train in martial art techniques in a safe but yet effective way. So that's my feedback.